Hello, I'm Chris Ensor. I'm one of the Deputy Directors of the National Cybersecurity Centre, responsible for cyber growth. And today I have with me David Crozier, who's Head of Strategic Partnerships at CSIT at Queen's University Belfast. So David, I'd love to talk to you about Irish rugby, but then I'd have to, and the ascendancy of it, but unfortunately I'd then have to talk about the descendancy of Welsh rugby.
Probably
so maybe,
be better.
Probably better. So should we just talk about cybersecurity? Yeah, let's talk about cybersecurity. So, okay, so I've known you a long time now. And probably let's start with, can you talk a little bit about CSIT and kind of your role there? What do you do in CSIT?
So CSIT is a Centre for Secure Information Technologies at Queen's. We're technically the UK's Innovation and Knowledge Centre for cybersecurity research and innovation. So we're funded by the Research Council, the EPSRC, who funds our sort of research, theoretical research. But as an IKC, we also get additional money to accelerate the translation of that research out into commercial impact. So that's quite a unique thing still in the UK to fund research in that way, to work closely with industry and agencies such as NCSC and GCHQ to really rapidly accelerate that technology to market. Typical research programs, 3-4 year programs, where you get your findings at the end of a research project. For cybersecurity, you actually need to, as you find out solutions to problems, you need to get them to market straight away. So we're set up with a large engineering team to help really take that technology off the papers into proof of concept demonstrators, into licensable IP, working directly with companies to get that stuff to market. My role within the centre is really to work with our mainly government partners. So we've multiple government partnerships with GCHQ, NCSC, with DSTL, with our funders, with the Regional Development Agency, Invest Northern Ireland, who fund a sort of package of funding to support that work and really making sure that we deliver maximum impact for the region in terms of jobs and economic benefit, but also for the whole nation in terms of the work that we do across the UK. So I've been doing that for about 10 years now, and we've known each other, probably throughout that time. And I think, you can see the impact that we've had here in Belfast and the region in terms of the cluster and the ecosystem of companies that we work with.
I mean, one of the things you've done, and I run NCSC for startups. Mm-hmm. One of the things you've done, which we don't do, but I'd be interested. So you talked about you have an engineering kind of contingent there, and of course you've got a lot of startups just around the dock there, and you provide them with sort of engineering support. That's something quite novel. How did that come about?
Well, it started out. Originally we had a program called CSIT Labs. So if you're a startup or a spin-out company, one of your biggest problems is really finance and resourcing staff, to get your company to a point where you can bring product to market. So some of the government funds that we got to run that program, which then evolved into the Lorca program effectively in London, was to fund the engineering resource to work on really rapid projects with the companies, either to help them securely architect their solution or help build out product. That was done in a way where we didn't take any equity in the company. The companies didn't have to pay us for that activity, but really looking to get really cutting edge research out to market and help those companies demonstrate their technology to potential clients, to demonstrate that they have that capability to VCs and funders, really in a way that didn't dilute the founder's stake. So that started out with CSIT Labs. We had, I think, 17 companies went through that, mainly Northern Irish-based companies. And then when we secured the Lorca project, partnering with Plexel and Deloitte, based at the Olympic Park, we rolled that engineering program and the academic master classes out to 72 companies over 3.5 years. And that's been hugely successful. Those are companies drawn from across the UK. I think that's been hugely successful. I think originally DCMS had set the target of helping those companies raise about 40 million. At last count, they'd raised over 200 million. Those companies were employing, I think, over 800 people at last count. We had helped develop about 1,000 proof of concept
Yeah.
projects over the 3.5 year
Yeah.
period with the engineers. So that was, I think that approach was quite novel because they were getting product, they were getting resource when they didn't have money to pay for
Yeah.
engineers, and really accelerated their growth.
Yeah.
And that's been a huge benefit for the whole UK.
I mean, people ask me, what's some of the secrets of a good innovation centre? And I think it's you've coined it there, which is they've got access to expertise they wouldn't necessarily have, and CSIT provides
Yeah.
that. And it's just a walk around the dock. They don't have to get in a car or anything like that.
No.
It's so close at hand.
And we have spinning, space within our building as well. So at any given time, we have about 6 or 7 companies physically co-located in the building. So
Yeah.
they're working directly with researchers, directly with engineers. Our agreements that we agree up front, their staff, their engineers can get access to our source code repositories.
Yeah.
They can evaluate that technology on an ongoing basis. So that's been hugely beneficial for those companies particularly. And I think if you're going out to market as a startup, if you're going out for investment as a startup, you really want to demonstrate that you have novel technology,
Yeah.
that it's not me too technology. You're bringing novelty to the market that excites people.
Yeah.
And in many cases, and the companies that we work with, whenever they raise large investment rounds, the fact that they've been working with CSIT, the fact that they're bringing novel technology to market that comes from our research has really helped them secure investment. It helps them in the marketplace, that they're bringing something truly different to the marketplace as well. And multiple companies that we work with tell us that.
So do you think that having the CSIT brand almost sitting behind it actually brings it some additional kudos?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the same way that having GCHQ and NCSC attached to CSIT as an academic centre of excellence give us credibility in the market, particularly in the US market, having CSIT attached to the companies, and a lot of the companies will proudly display our logos and their affiliation with us on their website, on their pitch decks. And that really helps because they go, okay, well, that is an academic centre of excellence.
Yeah.
They're well known for their research. They're, our areas of hardware security and security AI and critical infrastructure security.
Yeah.
They know that there's quality going in there. So that definitely helps.
So you were actually one of the first ACEs, academic centres.
We were, one of the first 6, back in 2011.
Was it that long ago?
I think it was, yeah.
God, doesn't time fly? And more recently, you've got the ACE for being an education centre of excellence.
Yeah.
How do you think that contributes to the local ecosystem?
Sure. If I look at the ESCSC, which is more recent, I think for us as a because that's a university-wide accreditation. CSIT, we have about 90 people in CSIT, and we have our academics linked to that and our masters. But with the ESCSC, what we're doing now as a university is we're embedding cybersecurity knowledge and training into all degree pathways, right? So if you're doing law at Queen's, or you're doing business at Queen's, or biomedical science, when you graduate and you go out into industry, you need to understand information security and cybersecurity principles. So we've taken that accreditation, we've used that within the broader university context and said, right, all the different schools, all the different faculties, how can we use our cybersecurity expertise, our education expertise, and embed that into all the degree pathways? So that's been, for the university population, that's been beneficial, but the wider economy benefits because the graduates that we put out into the local jobs market have that understanding in terms of cybersecurity, information security when they go into their roles, and that sort of percolates throughout all law firms and all the different firms that we have here in the region.
And what about sort of external outreach into schools and colleges in the community? What sort of role do you play in that?
Sure. Well, we hosted the first Cyber First events, for example, at CSIT. We were very keen in the early days that we got that program here to Northern Ireland. I think there are 15 schools now actively involved in that, and the plan is to grow that to 40. And I've sat on the selection panels for some of those schools seeking to join that program. Our academics, our staff are regularly out delivering guest talks, guest lectures in the schools, and not just in Belfast, but throughout the region here. We regularly host school groups into CSIT to show
Yeah.
them what we do. We run activities like capture the flag events and things like that, as well as the cyber first activity, just broader activity, just to really expose school kids and a diverse range of school kids what a career in cybersecurity actually looks like, what the opportunities are, try and demystify, some of the issues around cybersecurity. That's not just the sort of, hoodies in a bedroom.
Yeah.
There are loads of opportunities from software engineering, a lot of the machine learning and AI required to build the new tools for cybersecurity, the research career pathways, the academic pathways. We do that on a very regular basis. We also host a lot of the teachers who are teaching STEM subjects at CSIT, so that they understand what the careers are, how their students need to be considering those tech careers and cyber careers, and the sorts of subjects that they should consider and to get into that line of work.
Cool. So what advice would you give to other universities when it comes to influencing their local communities and ecosystems? Is there any lessons?
We looked at cybersecurity from a technical perspective and an economic perspective, an economic impact perspective. Like the demand for skills and talent in this. I think someone had said in their talk yesterday, in the UK alone, there's a demand access our job vacancies are about 14,000 at the moment. I think globally, that runs into the millions. So where there's that demand for talent and skills, that drives the potential for economic impact. It'll bring jobs to the region, but also in terms of companies who build solutions that make up for that shortfall and talented individuals, also drives the opportunity for really high growth startups, for companies that deliver really positive GVA for a region. So it's a technical challenge, but it's a huge economic opportunity. If you build a cluster of companies in your region and around the university, and it's kind of, we have a really positive feedback loop for the university, for us, our centre. The more success that we have delivered for the region, the more that we get funded programs for research and skills programs and stuff. So it's just a positive feedback loop. But cyber's, the threats are rapidly evolving. The industry just doesn't sit still. There's and it goes off, it veers off in different paths that you didn't expect. We look at the whole, ChatGPT issues and general intelligence. That brings huge problems that have to be solved, but it brings exciting opportunities in terms of securing AIs around new tools and technologies. That will have an impact, a negative impact on some jobs. Where some jobs will disappear, but it brings opportunities to upskill people, to reskill people as well. So definitely for any university considering growing this piece, don't just focus on the research or the training. Build around that, the spin out activity, the licensing activity, working with companies in the region. We have a particular specialism here in Northern Ireland around just building tools for cybersecurity, but that doesn't mean that other universities that maybe focus on whether it's human factors or whatever, they can build their own niche, but it's a big enough market that we can all have different specialisms as well, and really play at our strengths.
Well, it's been great talking to you again.